Do you know where you are? Do you know where you are going? People use their knowledge and previous experiences to find their way every day. But what happens when you are in a completely foreign and unfamiliar environment? How do people orientate, navigate, or remember their environment? Through wayfinding. Wayfinding informs people about their surroundings. It guides them. Effectively done, wayfinding delivers a clear and concise message. Imagine you just landed in Paris, France, a city you've never before been to. You don't speak the language and you've never traveled abroad. How would you navigate through the busy city streets to find your way to the Louvre? Your final goal and destination is to see the Mona Lisa, something that has been on your bucket list for ages. Some wayfinding elements that you will use are landmarks and orientation maps. Landmarks are necessary to mark specific spaces and/or locations. They reinforce recognition and make it easier to remember places. Landmarks can be anything: art, objects, specific buildings, street art, or even eye-catching elements in a landscape. Orientation maps help you orientate yourself within the environment. You finally made it to the Louvre and can't believe how close you are to the Mona Lisa. But how do you get there? There are so many different directions through the museum that your head is spinning. Feeling overwhelmed and disoriented, you quickly look for a map. One problem: it's in French. What's your next move? How do you figure out where to go? Luckily, wayfinding is much more than maps and signage. It includes symbols, arrows, color, lighting, typography, architectural design, and design finishes and materials. It is important that symbols are clear so they can be read easily. Arrows are one example of a universally understood symbol that point the way. Color and lighting are used to create a contrast and to differentiate spaces. When using color as part of your wayfinding design, it is important to understand the universal meanings behind each. For example, red typically means stop and yield. It could be confusing if you use these colors for different or opposing meanings. Wayfinding in museums is important because it directly correlates with guest satisfaction and experience. Interior designers must consider many things when designing a complex space. They need to consider the end user, the culture of the environment, and the elements of wayfinding that will work best for their project. If the space is difficult to navigate through, visitors can get frustrated and not take full advantage of the museum. It is important to understand that different people have different needs. For example, children with autism might interpret sensory stimuli differently than the average person. Another example is with the aging population. As you age, your vision becomes impaired and you actually need 3 times more light than what you needed when you were in your 20s. Interior designers must integrate wayfinding in the unique needs of a diverse group of people in order to have a successful design.